talk social issues over lunch with business magnate, activist, philanthropist, and Def Jam co-founder Russell Simmons at his house in West Hollywood? Me too! My name is Elysabeth Alfano, host of the TV show, web series, and podcast, The Dinner Party on WGN Radio Plus. On today's podcast, over vegan dishes from one of my favorite LA spots, Russell and I dish on his sense of purpose, both business and personal, his outlook on life, and the benefits of being vegan, as noted in his newest book, The Happy Vegan. A bit more about my guest. Russell Simmons encapsulates what it means to be an American visionary. More than a multi-million-dollar business magnate with a sprawling number of media ventures, which have included over the years Def Jam Records, Def Comedy Jam, Def Poetry Jam, Fat Farm and Baby Fat Fashions, Rush Books, All Def Digital, and The Global Grind. Russell's endeavors have influenced and defined American hip-hop culture, and on a larger scale, affected how we see ourselves as a multiracial society. Further, Russell has made a commitment to spiritual growth, philanthropy, and activism. As only one example of this, he created the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding and speaks out against racism, cruelty, and hatred of all kinds. And speak out he does, as you will hear in this podcast, and he doesn't limit his compassion to humans only. As you would expect from a man who makes things happen, with no holes barred fervor, Russell shares his philosophy on being happy and successful and how this is tied to our relationship with ourselves, our food, our planet, and its animals. So what to feed an outspoken vegan business mogul? In light of his new book, The Happy Vegan, I went to one of the happiest places on earth, Cafe Gratitude in Venice Beach. I ordered us 3 delicious dishes and brought along a bottle of Kendall Jackson's Vintner's Reserve Pinot Gris to match. With its vivid fruit flavors of pear, honeydew, and tangerine, and its bright, juicy texture enhancing the aromas of tropical mango, melon, and peach, KJ Vintner's Reserve Pinot Gris is just what the doctor ordered to talk life, purpose, success, happiness, and being vegan with Russell Simmons. So sit tight, the table is set and the dialogue is spicy. After a quick word about podcasts and a word from Kendall Jackson Winery, I'll be right back with visionary and author Russell Simmons. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, The Dinner Party with Elysabeth Alfano, on iTunes. Just search for The Dinner Party, or if SoundCloud is your thing, you can find me there too by searching for The Dinner Party. Subscribe and you'll never have to hunt for great, engaging interviews again. They'll just land on your computer or your iPhone every time a new podcast comes out. So subscribe now to The Dinner Party podcast with me, Elysabeth Alfano, because the best conversations really do happen over dinner. Kendall Jackson is a proud sponsor of the Dinner Party podcast with Elysabeth Alfano. Kendall Jackson believes it's not what you're drinking to, it's who you're drinking with. Before your next dinner party, visit kj.com to explore Kendall Jackson's diverse collections of high-quality California wines, from Vintner's Reserve Chardonnay, America's favorite Chardonnay for more than 24 years, to their newest release of Vineyard Designate wines. Kendall Jackson's got a wine you'll love. Enjoy Kendall Jackson responsibly. Kendall Jackson Winery, Santa Rosa, California. Russell, thanks for having me here in your home.
Happy to be with you.
So I went to Gratitude Cafe, given your book, The Happy Vegan.
Cafe Gratitude.
Cafe Gratitude, yes, Cafe Gratitude. And I got us the Ecstatic, which is oven-roasted Brussels sprouts in maple miso glaze, the Happy, which is a Mediterranean raw wrap, and the whole macrobiotic bowl. So lots of really lovely, tasty things here. I wanted to first talk to you a little bit about your book, But before we do that, I wanted to talk to you about how you came to where you are today. So
You mean in terms of why did I write the book and my whole experiences to becoming a vegan?
Well, I mean, your life has all been about transformation. I mean, a kid on the streets of New York, I'm guessing you had some good soul food, but not a lot of vegan going on. And then here you are today, later in LA, having a whole different take on that. And then also someone who dropped out of college and then went on to be a business magnate, changing the culture literally in which we live. So an empowered business professional. So before we get to the food, I'm wondering, is there anything specific that you have about yourself that you think you can identify the next big thing?
Well, no. I think that you learn from one or two experiences that a little courage matters. Have an idea, stick with it. A lot of times, people they go out and take the safe route, only to find that there's really no satisfaction in that limited success, or there's no satisfaction in greater success. So what I mean by that, let me go back. The first opportunity to become something there's a roadmap for, a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever. Those things are in some ways guaranteed. You go to school, you study the law, and then you become a lawyer, but then you become a person who continues to study the law, don't you? So you never really, realize any great, there's no ending. The doctor studies medicine and continues to study medicine, just as the ball player who becomes a professional ball player has to keep practicing ball.
Life is always learning.
It's an evolution that you have to accept. There's no ending. And if you know that, then you have enough confidence to pursue a goal that doesn't have an ending, that they can point their finger to. Mm-hmm. In other words, you're building a product, an idea. Say, what's the end result? I mean, you could be a multi-billion-dollar company, or a $2 billion company, $2 company, or are you going to spend your time doing something you like and be engaged and happy during the process? I think that's kind of it's not only the realization, but it's everybody comes to these, not conclusion. Everybody hits this brick wall. There's a beginning, and there's an end. And as far as your success in the world, there is none, beginning nor end. And you have to, I think, knowing that, having faith in the process and enjoying the process, making the work the prayer, not the result, is a kind of is comforting. Mm-hmm. It's what we all are meant to learn in our time here. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most important lessons we learn here is just to keep our head down and enjoy the process. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we have enough confidence or faith to pursue new goals, new ideas, or things that are not traditional. So I think that's what I learned in a couple of experiences. I did I went against the grain just a little bit, just enough for everybody to tell me it's a bad idea. And I had just enough success for me to realize that believing in myself mattered, and that the process was more exciting than actually the results that came from them anyway.
I love that, because faith in the process and faith in yourself takes fear out of the equation. Because even when something doesn't go your way, and of course life is tricky, lots of things don't go our way sometimes, if you have faith in the process and yourself, it's just one more turn on the road. But life journey
always doesn't work out. In other words, you wake up in the morning and you go out to the beach and then you get there and it rains. But then you drive home and you get home, and as you get home, you notice that the rain has watered all the plants that were dry, or your lawn that you couldn't water. Every single moment in life presents a new opportunity and a next chapter. And there's always a failure or what you would refer to as a failure in that process of growth. So you don't learn without struggle. You don't grow without what you refer to as failure. What I try not to think about, whether it's success or failure, is small, mm-hmm. because it always evolves. Mm-hmm. The failure is a success in that you learn, and the success is just a platform for you to fail. The things that you value the most, that you work for the most, when you get them, they become the things that pain you the most. And the things that pain you the most teach you to love and be happiest, more than the things that have no effect on you and no negative effect on you, or what you refer to as negative.
Was there any one experience that made you go from sort of
It's a very esoteric rap we got here. Talking about a whole bunch of shit that is far out. It's just basic scriptural stuff that that you learn through struggle, and you have to learn to embrace it. And I think that's all I said, and while going in circles, And I've had the experience of growing through struggle, and I've had the experience of what the world has referred to as success because of it. And without it, I wouldn't have had what they call success. So it's an ongoing process. You never achieve an end result in the world. The greatest result anyone can achieve is a comfortable seat, right? I guess it's happiness, right? So what do you want in life? To be happy. I think all of these struggles and successes and however they define them from the outside, all of these things are part of your spiritual evolution. You're a spiritual being. You have a physical experience to teach you to come to the spirit, to learn to live in the spirit. So you have these physical experiences, and they're helpful. But remember that we're not fully invested in those. If we are, we have nothing but pain.
You talk a lot about happiness here in our conversation today, and of course in your book, The Happy Vegan. I find for myself, I'm most happy when I'm connected to myself, and the better connected I am to myself, the more I understand my purpose. And I'm wondering, you have, if I'm counting right, something like 9 businesses going on right now, and probably there are more. I'm wondering, where is your focus, and what do you feel is your purpose?
Well, I like to do businesses, I think, that promote happiness. That whether it's service or make people laugh or smile, or their artistic expression, or whether it's philanthropic or social or political, that help underserved community members. I mean, I like to be invest my time in uplifting other people, and that's how I, as a manager, as a producer, as anything that people have named me. Those roles have all been. When there was success, those successes have come because I made other people successful. Mm-hmm. Because I lifted other people up, I rose. I view that as I have enough experience in that, having seen that I just kind of know that's my only role, is to lift other people up. And as I do so, and even through artistic expression or producing what people might, some music that people might find distasteful. Or the art, the poetry that people might find difficult. I know that lots of people who do care about it are really uplifted, genuinely uplifted, and made happy because of it. And so I go to work and I produce it, or I promote it, or I put in front of people, mm-hmm. so that they can have something some inspiration or support in their journey.
And does success breed happiness, or does happiness breed success?
Success and happiness are one and the same. The stuff you get has nothing to do with happiness.
Right. In fact, there's a great quote that I love from your book on page 8. So you give a long list of celebrities who are going vegan. I'll just name a few here: Woody Harrelson, Miley Cyrus, Ellen DeGeneres, Bill Clinton, Jennifer Lopez. And so then you go on and you say, why are all these successful and famous people promoting what seems on the surface to be such a radical lifestyle change, meaning being vegan? I believe, you're speaking here, I believe it has to do with the dirty little secret about success and fame. They don't necessarily make you happy. Sure, playing with toys that accompany success and fame can make you happy for a minute. I won't lie. It's a great feeling to drive a brand new Rolls Royce off the lot. But after a few weeks of it, you realize it's just a car. And that's when you start asking yourself, now what?
Well, and after those experiences, you realize you can't even get a week. You can't even drive off the lot without realizing it doesn't promote anything.
Yeah.
So you find that whatever toys you get, you give and you get, and becomes a cycle of giving. And the quicker the cycle of giving, the more abundant the cycle of giving. There's where you're working, at least, on the process of promoting happiness. You don't have to be in a rat race to be happy. But if you are in a rat race, if you realize it's a game and it's fun and it's part of a process, it's part of your learning experience and it's part of your personal evolution, then it's useful. But there's nothing they can give you, certainly no car that will make you happy. So I said in the book, sure, because I know people who read the book, believe that there's something in it. And I said a few weeks, I mean, not even a minute, in a car. You sit there, you drive it, before you're off the lot, you realize it's not going to change. It's $500,000, it's just a car.
Right.
And
you're still who you are.
And you could have saved lives with it. Sometimes that even makes you a little bit, you suffer when you have a big empty house. Big house with empty seats, mm-hmm. and you sit your ass in one seat, no matter how rich you are, and the rest of those seats are empty. And as you see empty seats, they cause you to then be sad. you know, and knowing that people don't have a seat.
Right.
Knowing that you have a lot of stuff that's being wasted and people that are needy. And I don't mean needy like spiritually, I mean physically
Basically
need.
the food and the clothes.
That's right.
Is this why you've started a lot of empowerment businesses? So your foundation for ethnic understanding.
Oh, those are philanthropic, social, and
Yes.
semi-political. I mean, Foundation for Ethnic Understanding is about bringing people together for dialogue. And that's an obvious one. It seemed like no one would do it. Sometimes I build companies and philanthropic organizations to fill holes. In fact, all of my success stories are ones where, worldly success stories are where we did things that the world needed, but no one would provide. And the idea of imams and rabbis talking was one that was foreign to the religious communities. It was unbelievable that interfaith dialogue didn't include rabbis and imams. When they were the elephants in the room, they were the ones who needed most to have dialogue.
Well, it's interesting because for me, there's a parallel here. You've done in your philanthropic organizations, you've done sort of the same in your large organizations, and that you're basically trying to fulfill a need that hasn't been fulfilled before.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about, the white space and giving people what they need.
So if this were an MBA class, and please, dear God, go ahead and teach one, because I know so many people would sign up. And you haven't already taught a class, have you?
No, I have not.
All right, so there's that. Any life lessons, if you could name it down to one or two, that you always stick by when you have a tricky day?
Well, you know, it's resilience and faith. I mean, hard work, dedication, resilience, and faith are the makings of miracles. Those are the makings of what promotes a miracle. And those who really are miracle workers just have faith. They don't have to do any work. You know, they just imagine the world to be different, and it is. They have so little need to see the world different, because they accept perfection and they operate from perfection, and they see the challenge in front of them, and it's part of their life dharma and their purpose. So they don't really have to do anything. And the idea that they might imagine the world differently is pretty much of a, there's no reason for that either. And they said that those enlightened ones who could change the world by just imagining it different have no interest in doing it, because the world is in perfect order. And they said Jesus, that he promote miracles just to show you that you're capable as well. Ye are all gods, all these things I do, you can do, and even greater. That scripture is that you can become enlightened. And the only reason I do this is to show you who you are, not that I needed to turn water to wine, or to even to save lives. You say that the whole experience, the life experience, again, a spiritual experience with physical attachments. We have to know that we are spirit, and that physics and the physical experience is part of evolving, is there to help you evolve the spirit faster. That's what they say, and I have faith in that. So I operate with that principle as much as I can. We all forget, but the trick is to remember. Let's talk about the book a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. That was my next segue. Although I would say one thing, hard to go from Jesus to Madonna, but I think it was Madonna that said in one of the articles that I read that the less she needs, the happier she is. And I can see that as being true, at least I say for myself. So let's talk about being vegan, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions that I'd like to go over, and also some of the major tenets of just what it means to be vegan. So I think the obvious is some people think, great, you're going to lose weight, it's better for you, better for your blood pressure, your heart disease. But there are a lot of misconceptions as well.
Yeah, well, 50% of African American women over 20 have heart disease. That America is obese, that America has diabetes, that America they're so full of antibiotics, one day the antibiotics won't work. They're so full of growth hormones. They're so full of Prozac if they eat chicken. They're so full of, there's all kinds of new shit they're introducing into the market every other day. The super salmon, we have so much antibiotics in super salmon. It's shocking. But yet, it's not even labeled. You'll have it on your plate soon. It won't be labeled.
I know more and more people who have disease from mercury poisoning.
Well, yeah, for sure. Look, they're ruining the oceans. They're destroying the environment. They're poisoning the planet. The government is paying them to do so. And they're factory farming 100 billion animals per year, 10 billion in America alone. 10 billion animals made to be born into the worst suffering imaginable for just a short life full of suffering if they're lucky, and then they are poisoned so badly, and then they are given to the people, the inhabitants of the planet are poisoned so badly, and the American government pays the factory farming industry to do this to us. We have government organizations designed to protect us, and they're basically full of shit. The FDA is full of shit when they say milk does a body good.
Yeah, and that's just one of the campaigns that are really, I think, meant to keep people unhealthy. And I don't know if it's because
they're
they're
meant
trying
to sell product. I mean, they don't care if you're healthy or not healthy. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies...
Then keep the pharmaceutical companies in business. So
that too.
I don't know about that. Let me ask you some of the things people say, at least to me. I've recently gone vegan, but I'm still on seafood. So I'm working...
How do you be vegan and be on seafood?
Well, that's what I say. I'm working my way out.
You can be vegan and cheat and have a piece of fish, but you would not be... You can say your intention is to be vegan, but you sometimes deviate. But you can't say you're vegan and you're still on fish.
So I've taken out dairy and I've taken out meat, and I still have seafood.
Every step matters.
So people always say to me, "Well, how are you getting protein?" And then
that's the bullshit. You have protein from the kale in front of you. You have protein from the beans and rice in front of you. You have everything on this table is protein. I mean, that's just crap. They just say anything, and the animal industry tells you so many lies. They promote so many lies, and it's shocking what they're doing to tarnish the image of the greatest supplement we have right now, and there's so many more supplements being introduced into the marketplace, is tofu, right? People think, oh, they eat tofu, they get tons of protein. Then the animal industry says you get boobs. I don't have boobs. I've been eating tofu for 30 years.
Right.
Longer,
Tofu's my new breakfast.
Yeah,
it's replaced yogurt for me. So I have tofu and fruit and seeds and oatmeal.
Right.
Raw oatmeal, raw oats.
Right. But that's not true about tofu. I mean, it's like some of the stuff that they say is bad about tofu, you can't get in your body no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of lies and misconceptions, and and for business, they promote these falsehoods so they can continue to build their businesses. You would think that more businesses would invest in the alternatives as part of their process to survive. But they act like they're just going to poison the earth and we're going to be quiet.
Right, yeah.
We're not, and people are waking up, and they have to wake up, because if they want to continue to grow as companies, if they want to continue to protect their investors in investment relationships, they have to grow in ways that are more healthy for the environment, because we are watching you now. We know what you're doing. We know that your cow is the greatest cause of global warming. The cow, I think, is one single thing that has the most by itself contribution to global warming. The cow... More
than cars everywhere.
Trains, planes, and automobiles and boats all added together.
A cow is much more.
A cow is more than all that. So that's just one animal and the resources that go with it into manufacturing it.
So I didn't see the statistic in your book. It may be there. Do you know how many people are becoming vegan every year, or how much it's changing percentage over time?
Well, it's rapidly picking up. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah, but you feel that it's...
Oh, no, you can tell by the restaurants that are opening all over the place.
I see it in LA, but I'll tell you, nothing in Chicago. Nothing.
Yeah, you have a vegetarian soul restaurant there that I like a lot.
Which one do you like?
They're Black Jews from Dimona.
Okay.
And they own a restaurant in the hood. It's called Soul Vegetarian.
Oh, and like 79th or something, right?
I don't know where it is, but it's really good.
Yeah, but so few and far between, the restaurants in Chicago.
But but I always say this for people who claim they can't find vegan food. You can get it anywhere.
Well,
you can go anywhere. You can go to Taco Bell and get your vegan burrito with guacamole, bean burrito, and take the nasty, heart clogging cheese out of it and put guacamole instead.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can go to the hood, right? What happens in the hood? You got your Chinese restaurant, right? They don't have just Chinese broccoli. They got same broccoli you get as you're used to, right? American broccoli, if there's such a thing. They also have spinach, right?
Yeah.
So imagine your curry tofu with spinach and broccoli and maybe eggplant and all kinds of Chinese vegetables on some brown rice. And is that vegan? I think so.
It sure is.
It's right there in the hood. It's on the corner.
You were talking my language. Eggplant. Sicilian girl. Got to have her eggplant.
Right. You could have eggplant and garlic sauce. Eggplant and black bean sauce. I keep saying different sauces. I'm a sauce man. I'm a soul food man. But there's so many alternatives for everybody, everywhere, and people just are not aware of them. But it's really easy to do it, and it's cheap. My book talks a lot about how to go vegan for a price, and how you can save money by stop eating animals as opposed to spend more money.
Well, you're saving money on groceries, and then you're saving money on healthcare. your own
definitely
healthcare.
saving money on healthcare, that's for sure.
What about certified humane?
What the fuck is that?
Well,
Certified, all that shit is almost all bullshit.
So you don't believe those animals are treated any better in a certified
Well, I mean, I'm
humane
sure
plan?
it's better than, well, I don't know. I mean, they say light and there's a little hole in the ceiling. I mean, there's a lot of loopholes to the kind of laws they promoted. There's nothing humane about growing animals for slaughter in the way that we do.
In the way
the
that
manufacturing of animals, in no way. Yeah. You think there's a way you can grow an animal and the plan is to chop him up? That's not that humane. There's no way to grow an animal and plan to chop it up.
What if they're not suffering for their life?
Huh?
Like, let's say...
what about your sister? If we chop your sister up, but at what point is it okay? She's lived you let me know when she lived a good enough life. We're going to chop her ass up. See if that's okay with her.
I'll ask her if she'd go for that.
Right, no, when she's older though, like when she's like tired, like see if you chop her ass up and eat her arm. I'm just saying though, dominion over the animals does not mean the kind of choices that we've made to factory farm animals. And by the way, you know, this idea that we're made to eat animal, it's bullshit. We're not made to eat animals. If we were made to eat animals, we'd have teeth we could bite into an animal. We're not made to eat animals. We're made to eat all the other things that we have to eat. So many things.
So you're saying we wouldn't have to cook it because we could just eat it, like our teeth would be strong enough to go for raw meat. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not true. You know, it's selfish. It was only, first of all, people always think it's cultural. There's no culture where animals are really part. No culture that came to America where they came and they were heavy animal eaters and they just brought their culture. Corned beef and cabbage. Bullshit. Cabbage and a bunch of other stuff, but not corned beef. They wrote back to Ireland and said, guess what they give us here? The slaves came here. They wouldn't eat any flesh or flesh derivatives at all. The slaves would not eat. You had to go back and come back with okra and beans and things from their place they came from, or they went on hunger strikes and they died. Many of the slaves came. You think they came eating pig feet? Well, the Western diet and these ideas about eating animals have spread. The idea that the wealthy or the affluent could eat animals. And they couldn't, and so when they got a chance, they ate animals. And,
you know, it's not just the eating of animals, which of course is so very important to me, but all the water it takes to make all the land.
Well, it freaks me out. When I go to a yoga studio, they say take a yoga shower, and they tell you go have a hamburger after it. I could have took 80 showers, motherfucker. Why? I could have had 80 showers, and you tell me don't take a shower. Because you ate a hamburger. So that one non-vegan takes up the space on this planet
I see what
that
you're saying.
400 vegans take up.
I see
I'm
what
going
you're
to repeat that.
Yeah, go ahead.
One non-vegan, 400 people occupy, for that one person.
Yeah.
It's tremendous what they do to destroy the environment, and we pay for it.
Right.
Our tax dollars go to the $40 billion that the American government gives people who manufacture meat and dairy. And then they give the vegetable industry $17 million, or 0.4%. It's insane. The people who are vegan, we're not trading, or we're doing it because of our own spiritual and our own belief that we can save the planet if our ideas catch on. But if not, the planet won't be saved. But more than that, it could be. You could be an angry vegan. That's why my book's called Happy Vegan. Yeah. So this guy is going to have a hamburger, and I'm going to ask me to shorten my shower.
Right, I see.
People can be. I can understand how a vegan could be angry.
Yeah, because other people are hogging the resources of the planet, and we only have one place to live. So once you destroy your planet, you're pretty SOL.
That's my air you fucking with.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. It's my air.
You got to come with me. You got to come with me to cocktail parties and start talking. Yeah. There's a term in your book that I didn't quite understand. What is the urban yogi?
Well, people perceive the yogi to be somewhere in a cave, meditating, or to be somewhere in the Himalayas, and that somehow they will get moved towards God faster. But there's two things about it. One, an urban yogi is a person who adopts yogic philosophy and goes to work every day in an urban world. He has a dharma that is in this world, in the urban communities. And so he goes through life. He goes to his practice. He meditates. He has a vegan diet. He has a job, and he serves, hopefully, in a job that is helpful, uplifting. But no matter what job he's got, the only jobs available in the steakhouse, and he recommends the vegetarian meal at the steakhouse. He does what he can. He lives in this urban environment. So the urban yogi, though, what the misconception is that you can't be an urban yogi. When I say I would submit you could meditate on a train, a crowded subway, and someone else could be in a cave and be distracted by all the things that they think they may have to do. This is up to you, whether you live in a yogic state or a confused, busy. If your mind is noisy or not, it has nothing to do with your surroundings, or very, very little, if anything at all, to do with your surroundings. Oh. So the urban yogi lives in this crowded, busy, at his worst case, loud, adventurous, with lots of
acrimonious sometimes.
Yeah, but he lives in this really challenging environment, but it's not challenging unless you say it is. And so he goes in a yogi. He goes through difficult poses in the asana, right? His physical practice, and he goes in difficult poses, and his intention is to smile. So to be awake and happy in difficult poses. So then somebody comes and yells. He says, "I just did a twisting triangle. Like, you can't steal my joy."
Right.
I just did a twisting triangle, bitch. Like, you're yelling is not, so that's how the urban yogi has to live. He's always in a twisting triangle anyway.
So
right?
Grounded to your own core.
Except suffering or difficulties or pain, but suffering you don't have to. Mm-hmm. So accept the pain and the things, and kind of lean into them, way into it.
Suffering is a choice.
That's right.
How many minutes a day do you meditate?
Just 20 or 40. I try to do twice a day, but I've been lately, for the last couple of years, mostly just once a day.
Uh-huh. And it evens
but
you out,
every single day.
Every single day.
Every single morning.
Same time every day, or just when
Pretty
you
much
get it
same
in?
thing, same time every morning.
Which is in the morning?
Yes, that's right.
And yoga practice every day or no?
Yes, usually at 8:30 in the morning I make practice.
And I'll say that you have a yoga studio that's opening soon in 2016.
That's right, yeah.
I can't wait. So you make this tie between being a vegan and being happy and being successful. And do you think that's true for everyone, or it's just?
I think everyone who causes less harm to the universe gets more happiness back from the universe. Mm-hmm. It's not the only thing. I mean, again, it's your choice to choose happiness and do work on things that promote happiness. One of the things that will make you happier is to cause less harm. Ahimsa, in the scripture, you have 8 parts of the yogic practice that promote happiness. Right, and those scriptures are not—they run parallel to the Bible and the Quran, the Torah, and the Buddhist scriptures. They all run parallel to what is in the Yoga Sutras. Mm-hmm. But the first thing is ahimsa, non-harming. It's the very first thing, and that's where you go to work every day. And non-harming is like doing the least amount of harm, but also promoting the most amount of good is part of a process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So to this end, I see that you have Donald Trump used to be a friend. And you have said no for presidency.
Well, no, you don't have to support your friend for presidency. Shit. I have lots of friends I'd be scared they were president. I don't know if we're still friends anymore. I haven't spoken to him lately. I've been a lot of mean things about him, and they're all true. So I'm not sure how he's got quite an ego, so he probably would never get over it.
And so do you think Hillary will be president?
I think she has to now. Yes. Well, no choice.
Right. Yeah, certainly the other extreme would be horrible.
I don't think there's an extreme in Hillary. Hillary's pretty moderate.
No, I mean going with
candidate. I hope that they push
Trump,
more.
That would be the extreme.
Well, I'd take America to hell in a handbasket.
So my last question for you on this very busy day. Again, thanks for your time today. Your favorite vegan snack?
Favorite vegan snack? It changes. People always say my favorite anything changes. Always. It depends on the moment. I like those buffalo wings that come from Veggie Grill. I like them now. Later on I like something else. Their chocolate chip cookie is the bomb. But I was at a place called Vegan Glory yesterday, and they have this. Where is this? I know it's fried, but this fried fish they got is nutty. Right there on Beverly.
Okay.
But you can go again, like I said, in the hood, you got curry tofu. You put eggplant in it because you like eggplant because you're Italian. Curry tofu and eggplant with spinach and broccoli and some Chinese vegetables on top of brown rice. I like curry.
Do you cook?
No, not often.
I make a very mean Brussels sprout salad with chickpeas and a heavy vinaigrette. So
that's cool.
Next time I will bring it from home.
I just thought about, since you said favorite, I was just thinking about my man's lasagna. He makes an amazing vegan lasagna with 6 kinds of cheese.
Who does this?
Dowdy is his name. He's the vegan guru is his nickname.
Can I get this too, or is this like just for the ends?
No, he has Nice Guys. It's a vegan restaurant.
That's called Nice
in the hood.
Guys. Okay. I live in Venice. I mean, I used to live in Chicago, and I just moved here in January, so 2 months ago, and I'm in Venice. And we've got plant, seed, and wine. Very good. Abbott Kinney.
Okay.
If you're in the mood for something upscale.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for talking to me today. I super appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thanks for joining in on The Dinner Party with me, Elysabeth Alfano. To stay in the know, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DinnerPartyCHGO and on Facebook at The Dinner Party and at Elysabeth Alfano. To subscribe to this podcast, find The Dinner Party on iTunes and SoundCloud and WGNplus.com. And if you want to send me an email about today's podcast or anything else, find all my info at thedinnerparty.tv. The Dinner Party editors are Michael Heidemann, Tim Barron, and Paul Velasquez. The original music is by the Websters and Ship Captain Crew. Thanks for listening today, and join me on the next Dinner Party podcast where the best conversations happen over dinner.